Okay, so my voice is clear, right? It's clear my voice. I'm starting Spring Framework today. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now.
ఏం ఎవరు మాట్లాడరు?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Fine. Recording started. Fine. So why Spring? Already we have a serverless. Already we have JSP. Already we have a Core Java. Already we have JDBC. Then why we need Spring? Okay, with Core Java we can develop desktop-based applications. Okay, with JDBC we can connect to any databases. With serverless we can develop web applications. Okay, with JSP we can divide presentation logic and service logic in a different classes.
Voice clarity.
వాయిస్ క్లారిటీ రావట్లేదు అందరికీనా?
కొంచెం
లో వస్తుందా? ఓకే ఓకే ఫైన్. ఇప్పుడు ఓకే. సో already we have a core Java, we have JDBCs, serverless, JSP. Okay, why we need to go for again Spring framework? What are the new features? Okay, what are the features we can get if you use the Spring? Okay, if we talk one by one, Spring features, Spring specific feature, I can say there are multiple benefits while we are using Spring framework. What are multiple benefits? Okay, while developing applications, we'll get multiple benefits while developing Spring-based application. We can get a multiple benefits. What are those? First, we'll see what are different features. What are there in the Spring? So, Spring has some modules. I can say with the Spring we can develop desktop-based applications. Okay, we can develop web applications. Okay, we also can develop database connectivity. Okay, we have some security concepts. We have a security concept. If we want to implement some transaction, we can do that. Okay. The last one is major REST API. What is REST API? Because of REST API, maybe Spring got more popular. Okay, because REST API on Spring core features, it is got more popular. So what is REST API? That I will discuss later. First time we'll go for only different features in the Spring. Okay, and Spring has its own controller, IOC, not a controller, IOC, inversion of controller. What is this inversion of controller? It is a one type of container. It is a one type of container. What is a container? Container word we already see in the serverless. Servlet container, I told multiple times. What servlet container will do? What is the responsibility of servlet containers? there is Spring Batch support. What is Spring Batch? To execute jobs. To execute jobs batch by batch. Okay, we can do with Spring Batch. Like this, we have multiple features in the Spring. Okay, we have multiple features in the Spring. So we can develop this applications. So this is also possible with the core Java. Why we need to go for Spring? We can develop web applications. So this also can do with the serverless in JSP. Okay, database connectivity we can do with JDBC. Why we need to go for again Spring Framework? Security directly Java not support security. It depends on the some other integrations. So Spring will provide this. Transaction also same. REST API. REST API without Spring Framework, there is some other vendors can provide the RESTful support. Example Jersey. Okay, this is alternate I'm saying. Example is Jersey. With Jersey also we can develop REST API based applications. It has own container inversion of control. This is responsible for Spring beans lifecycle. Okay, Spring Batch. What is Spring Batch? If you want to execute some jobs, what is jobs will do? Jobs will do at backend it will run. It will give support for the front-end applications. Okay, we want to execute some operations batch by batch. Example, simple example. If we want to insert 1 lakh records into one table, database table, can I insert at a time? Can I insert at a time? No, it is not possible. Right? It is possible, but there is a to avoid that, we can insert 1000 record like this 100 times. Due to this way, we can insert records into database. There is no performance issue because of there is no chance of raising out of memory. Okay, so same job, I want to insert 1 lakh record daily. Daily I'll get 1 lakh records. I want to insert into one table. Who will do that? Company will not hire one person to do this task. Daily take a records, 1 lakh records on insert into database. We have to write some jobs, backend jobs. Those jobs will run at background. Those daily certain particular time, we can specify the time. Those jobs will run. Those jobs responsible to execute the piece of code, whatever we written. Okay, these are some simple features about Spring Framework. Okay, to support all these features, we have some modules, Spring modules. These modules have different purpose. First, we'll see what are the modules we have in Spring. Okay, I'll discuss one by one when it is required. So first module, we have a Spring core. We have a Spring core. This is the first module. Okay, second one is Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, Spring MVC. This is most important. Spring REST, Spring Batch, Spring these are few modules in the Spring Framework. Okay, learning of all these modules will complete our Spring course. So all these things are important. So all things are not much important. Okay, we need to learn at least few. Okay, maybe secure as for 3 years experience, these many things are not required. Okay, learning of Spring core module is fine. Okay, JDBC is required, MVC, the rest. These 4 are fine, but remaining are not much important, not required. 1 second. Okay. Okay. So in that, first we start with the Spring Core. Okay. First we'll discuss these modules, why we need. Example, if you want to develop one simple desktop-based applications, maybe simple hello world. Okay. Simple hello world based application with the Spring. With the Spring, we can go with the Spring Core. It is a base module. If you want to work with all these remaining modules, maybe Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, MVC, all these modules want to work, we need to first know about Spring Core, because remaining modules will be depends on the Spring Core only. Okay, that is why we can call it a core. Core means very important, basic. Okay. Okay, so if you want to develop simple application, it's not a web based. This is only desktop based. Simple hello world application, we can use the Spring Core. For Spring JDBC, we already know JDBC, right? We already know some concepts about JDBC. If we want to work with JDBC, we have some issues, right? We have some, definitely, we face some issues. What are the issues that I will discuss? Okay, there are some problems with the JDBC. To avoid those, we can go with the Spring JDBC. Spring JDBC internally work on a JDBC concept only, but there are some benefits. There are some benefits that I will discuss. Next one is ORM. ORMs are not yet discussed. This is like object relational mapping. This is Hibernate concept. While I'm discussing about ORM, before I'll touch about Hibernate, then I'll go for ORM. Okay, instead of Hibernate, we can work with the ORM. Okay, ORM also internally depends on Hibernate only. Okay, ORM internally depends on Hibernate only. So whatever concepts we use in the Hibernate, same will come in a ORM, but there are some coding changes, some benefits. Next one is Spring MVC. What is MVC? What is MVC? Now, interviews, if you go interviews, someone asking questions about Spring, mostly on these three only: Spring Core, MVC, REST. Okay. If they want to interest, they can go last one. Very rare case. Okay, what is core module? To develop simple desktop-based applications. JDBC for, it is a summer alternative for JDBC, because internally it is using JDBC only. This is for Hibernate. MVC for, if you want to develop web-based applications. Okay, we already say how to develop web-based applications with the serverless and JSP, right? While developing serverless and JSP, we have some problems. We have those. To avoid, we can go with the Spring MVC. Okay, in Spring MVC, we have some concepts. Those we'll discuss. String. What is the next one? Spring REST. What is the REST? REST means representational state transfer. Representational state transfer. REST. What is the REST? Why we need REST? Simple example: one different application wants to communicate to another application. One different application wants to communicate another application. The example here: Flipkart or Amazon wants to do payment with the ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank. Okay, once you go and click on payment page, payment button, it will talk to another application, banking application. Okay, whatever payment details, whatever card those you entered, it will submit to the ICICI. It will ask, this customer has this amount or not. If you have, just deduct the amount and return back. Okay, here what the main thing? One application wants to communicate another application. Okay, that means These two are not exchanging the HTML page. These two are exchanging only data. Okay, in normal application, what we developed previously with serverless, that is returning back as HTML page. We can see some UI page, but here it is transferring data, not about page. Okay, in this case, we will go for the rest. What is Spring Batch? Already I told to execute some jobs, security for. So, example, we developed an application. That application everyone can access. What is the problem? If you develop one web applications, everyone can access, what will happen? Take a simple, any bank application, okay? You develop a bank application, everyone can access, everyone change their amount. Their amount is 1,000 rupees, they will add 2 zeros. What will happen? These are some problems, so that we need to provide some security to our application. Okay, just we need to know who is logging this application. The corresponding user is valid user or not. Okay, the corresponding user is valid or not. That kind of mechanism we can do with the security. Okay, Spring security modules. These are all modules. So Spring transaction, what is the transaction? Transaction already told, whenever we are doing some simple payment, okay, simple payment, deducting from one account and crediting to another account. That should be happen. Transaction means, what is successful transaction means generally? Simple question. One of your friend asking to send money, 1,000 rupees. What you do? What you do? Respond. Why no response? One of your friend asked to send the 1,000 rupees. I'm asking to send 1,000 rupees. What you do? Okay, you open one phone pay. Okay, you open your phone pay, or you entered mobile number. Okay, amount, send button. Okay, unfortunately, the transaction is failed. Okay, the transaction is failed due to maybe network issue, server down, whatever. Okay, can you go and say your friend, okay, I sent your money 1,000 rupees, please check. Can you ask like that? No, you cannot ask because amount is not debited. Here mainly transaction means all or none. What is all or none? It will execute complete transaction, maybe deducting from one account and crediting to another account. It should be both sides should be success. Then only all. None means if you deducted from here but not credited from to another account, what will happen? That is failure transaction. Okay, successful transaction means it should be executed both sides, not only one side. That means all. All means it should be deducted from here one account and credited to another account. That is all. All transactions successful. None means nothing should happen. Maybe should not deduct here, should not credit here. That is successful transaction. Okay, these are few modules about Spring framework. Okay, we'll start with Spring Core. This is the first module we have discussed. Next we'll see Spring JDBC, ORM, MEC, REST. Up to here we'll cover mostly. With time permits, I will cover remaining. Remaining are not much important. Up to here is important for the interviews on work-based in the project. Okay, I'll try to cover Spring security also, at least 1 or 2 examples. Fine. Okay, then we'll go for Spring Boot. While working with Spring Boot, we should discuss only about Spring Boot specific features. Okay, maybe Spring Boot we have auto configuration. Okay, don't focus much now. Auto configuration, embedded servers. Okay, don't listen much on this. Okay, this I'm giving names. Embedded servers. We have activator, profiles, dev tools. Okay, these are few I can say Spring Boot specific. While working these tools, maybe these topics, we should know all these concepts. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand. You can understand, but you cannot do practice. You cannot do develop any applications. Okay, these two are hot cake in market. Okay, that means everyone asking questions on these topics only. After Core Java, this is most important. Spring Boot, SAP. Okay, fine. I'm starting with a Spring Core. I'm starting with a Spring. What is Spring Core? To develop simple desktop-based applications. Okay, to develop simple desktop-based applications. So, what is next question? What are different features of Spring Core? In Spring Core, what we need to learn? There is one concept called Spring IOC container. Dependency injection. Auto wiring strategies. Bean scope. Mainly bean life cycle. Spring Core annotations. Okay, these are not only these six, we have multiple things. I'll add on fly. These are few things we need to learn about Spring Core. Okay, so while working with Spring IOC container, okay, mainly first thing is we are not creating object for class. Developers will not work on to create an object. Example, I have a one class, test class. Test class has one method. Okay, this class also have one variable. Public int is simple. Okay, now tell me if I print this variable, this method, I'm writing SOP directly. Okay, if I print this method, now tell me I want to call M1 method. How to call? Respond everyone. I want to call M1 method. How to call M1 method?
With the class name dot m1.
Okay, if I call class name dot M1, it work or not?
It works.
Yes. Respond, please. 8 people are there. Need response for everyone.
To create an object.
create an object. Okay. Fine. How to create object?
Test t is equals to new test.
Okay. Directly I'm calling like this instead of assigning variable. Okay, I'll try to understand it more better. Test t is equal to new test one. Now I have to call a t dot m1. Okay, so okay, this is correct. That's fine. I am writing one shortcut way. Okay, on the top of this test class object, we are calling a m1 method. Can we directly call like this? This is also correct. We created object. On the top of object, we are calling m1 method. No need much explanation. Okay, if I call like this, it will be executed this method. It will call m1 method and it will print the age. Now tell me what is the age it will print. What is the output? What is the output? బ్రో మనం స్ప్రింగ్ క్లాస్ ఉన్నాం బ్రో కోడ్ జావా కాదు ఎందుకు ఇంత లేట్ ఇఫ్ ఐ కాల్ m1 మెథడ్ వాట్ ఇస్ ద అవుట్పుట్
That
The output is
age
coming age only.
age.
ఏజ్ ఓన్లీ వాట్ ఇస్ ద వాల్యూ
I think
Nothing, zero.
yeah,
Null
zero.
pointer.
Zero.
Null pointer.
Null.
0 fine so it is printed 0 why because it is a global variable so for global variable JVM will assign a default value if we developer don't assign. Okay, now what we are doing here, we are creating object. Okay, so I want to assign a value to 100 after creation of object. I want to assign value is 100. How to assign? We have different approaches, maybe setter method, constructor, like that. I'll take on constructor. Okay, here int age. This dot age
equals to
age. Up to here, fine. No, not much difficult. Now, while I'm creating the object, I'll provide my specific age. Okay, I can get, if I print m1 method, if I call m1 method, it will call and will print a value as a 29 is fine. Okay, what is another approach to set a value for age? Instead of constructor, we can write one setter or simple method.
setters and getters method.
Yes, it is simple method. Here, what we are doing, whatever constructor doing, same thing we are doing here. Same thing we are doing. So if I call after creation of object, I can call a set age method. I can pass my variable, my value. So that will be set to our current variable. Okay, how to do that? After creation of object, t dot set
Yes.
age. Okay, after creation object, immediately I'll call t dot age. I'll remove constructor now. Okay, here now don't provide argument. Now set age, give your own value for age. It will be set to your variable. Then I'm calling m1 method. The m1 method will call. It will try to print the value. Right now the value is 20. I assign. It will print. So what are things we are doing here manually as a developer? Creating object, setting the value. Okay, if it is dynamic value, what is dynamic value means? Whenever we are going to deploy, I will change the value. How to change? That is complex. Okay, this value I have to read from some other, maybe some properties file, external database, different approach. Then how to? I have to read the properties file. I have to write a code. Example, this is a one app.properties. One file is there. Just think like that. In that file, I have a one row means one line. Here age equal to 20, I put here 20, 25. Now I want to inject from file to, I want to inject the variable. How to do that? I want to inject one file to data to variable. I want to first, I have to read the properties file. How to read the properties file? I already told in the collections. In the collections, there is last topic, properties. One object is there, one class. Okay, how to read properties file? Properties p equal to new properties. Provide the file name. File name is app.properties file. Now read the age value. Now read the age value. P dot get property, not age. Get property. This is properties object. In the properties object, we have one method proper get property. Get property of, give a key. Key is here age. Okay, we got that data. Okay, by default it will give string. If you want to convert into string to integer, how to convert string to integer? Integer dot parse int of sh. That means this is string type is. Okay, convert into integer type int age. Okay, now set this data to here. So whatever data is there in the properties file, that will be set to our object. If we call m1 method, it will print to the 25. Up to here clear? This part is creating object. This part is getting data from the properties file. Then we are setting and we are calling the m1 method. These lines of code manually doing by the programmer. What if we have this class multiple variables? Here I have multiple variables. Int age, int shall. Okay, string name. We have multiple variables here. I want to set like this. Okay, all the values after creation object. That data there in the properties file. That data there in a properties file. Then what you do? Every time you have to call the create object and read the data from the properties file and set the data. T dot set is, T dot set shall, T dot set name. Okay, like this we have to call all these things. So what Spring says, okay, this is common for every project. This is common. Okay, for your project, banking project, insurance project, any project in the world, this functionality is common. Data there in some other place, maybe properties file from database or different places. You want to initialize your object with your custom values. That values there in the file or database, whatever. Why you need to write code every time? Okay, why you need to write code? This is common functionality. Okay, common functionality means I will give the support. Okay, I will give a support to inject, to create an object. First thing is I will give support for create the object, reading data from the properties and set the data to your variable. Up to here I will take care. Just you have to do call your method, call your functionality, call your service. Okay, these are by the code problem. By the code means what? Everyone writing same code. Okay, if I write code for my project, I have to write same functionality. If I write code for your project, same functionality, you have to write code. So instead of writing everyone the code, I'll write from my side, I'll give you as a framework. Okay, just include those jar files, use my functionality. Okay, I'll responsible to create the object, reading the data from the external file, and set the values to your object. Now your object is ready to use. Okay, how you use? You will call m1 method, m2 method. That class has multiple methods. whatever methods you have, you can call. Okay. This boiler code problem, I will do myself. Okay. After creation of the object, the creation of object is responsible by container, Spring IOC container, and inject the variables data is responsible for IOC container by reading from the properties file or different location. Just you have to tell there is a one key provided in application properties file. Okay, those data directly inject to here. How to write? What is the key? Age, name, salary. If you write simple annotation, this annotation responsible go and get the age value from the file. What is the age value? 25. This value will be injected automatically by Spring IOC container. Okay, same like salary, same like name. Okay, where is the name? This is name. Okay. So it will inject the value directly. So now our value already set by Spring IOC container. If I call M1 method, this is not required now because we are not setting. If you call M1 method, what is the age value? 25, because already I given here. If I give value is 23 here, okay, this value automatically injected by the Spring IOC container to this variable. Okay, if I call M1 method, that age value will print, that is 23. Like that, Spring framework will do lot of things for us. Okay, just we have to use that corresponding functionality. Okay, we just have to use the corresponding functionality. Is it fine? This is simple example I'm saying for the in terms of Spring IOC container. Okay, what is dependency injection? Dependency injection is combination I told here. So Spring IOC container will read the data. Okay, will read the data and put it into one box. Just observe here, Spring IOC container read the data, put it into one box. Maybe we are saying box, in terms of technically it is map. Okay, this is a map. Map contains a key and value, right? Already we know map contains key and value. So here age is a key, name is a key, salary is a key. 23 ABC. This value will read by the Spring IOC container and read this value and put it into one object, one map object. This container we call as a IOC container. Okay, from here take these values and inject to our variable. Okay, this name will go and inject to variable. Okay, if the salary will go inject to this way here. Okay, this age will go inject to here. Who will you inject? That is a concept called dependency injection. So what is dependency? Dependency means our variables depending on the some other side data. Okay, that dependency we are injecting. Who injecting? IOC container. This concept we can call as a Spring IOC container dependency injection. What approach internally follow? There are multiple things. When we discuss one by one, there are multiple things it will follow while injecting the value. Okay, fine. This is Spring IOC and dependency injection. If you go for next concept, what is the next one? Auto wiring. Auto wiring is a combination of dependency injection topic. So while injecting object this to here, how it will inject, how it will decide. Okay, if it is a string or name, maybe integer value, it will be fine. Maybe one employee object wants to use in our class. Okay, here I want to use employee class object in test class. Who will inject the object here? How to inject? Those will be decided by the Difference is strategies. Auto-variant strategies. Based on some strategy, maybe setter injection, construct injection, it will follow auto-variant strategy. Next one is bin scope. Okay. Today I'm giving overview on all these things. We'll go tomorrow examples. What is bin scope? What is life cycle? What is life cycle? Up to now, we discussed many times about life cycle. Spring, not in Spring, we discussed in the multi-threading, thread life cycle. We discussed in the servlet life cycle. We discussed in the JSP life cycle. What is life cycle first? Respond.
Object creation to destroy, up to destroy.
Okay. Object creation to destroy. What does that mean? So once we declare a class, we need to create an object. We need to call methods. We need to destroy that object. Okay, who will do that? That is doing by someone else. Okay, maybe developer doing. That life cycle from creation of the object to till destruction, what is it doing? Okay, that who will manage? Okay, what are different states? That will be told by the life cycle. Okay, that life cycle we'll discuss here. Bin life cycle. Okay, tell me in servlet what are different life cycle methods? Servlet, JSP, and also multi-threading. First, tell me servlet life cycle. What are different methods are there?
We need service and destroy.
We need service and destroy. Okay, in JSP.
JSP init.
Okay. Underscore JSP init, underscore JSP service, underscore JSP destroy. In the multi-threading, what is thread life cycle? గుర్తులేదా? చదవలేదా? Anyone? What is thread life cycle?
New
runnable run, ready, start.
terminated
Hmm.
and then
Okay, we have
Next.
multiple states in the thread life cycle. This does not exist. That means we can call it a new or born state. Okay. Once we call start method, it will go for ready or runnable state. Once we call thread scheduler, once we thread scheduler allocate memory for this thread, it will go for running state. Once run method completed, it will go for the dead state. Like that, for everything we have a life cycle. Here also Spring have Spring objects, Spring classes, Spring beans have a life cycle. Okay, thus we'll discuss this Spring life cycle, not much simple, somewhat complex to understand. We'll discuss separate concepts on one day. Okay, next one is bean scopes. What are bean scopes? What is scope means? What is scope? Before asking bean scope, I'll ask one question. General in core Java. Yes, I'm reviewing this. Not much important. This.
1 second, Chinchu. Could you please explain little bit about difference between dependency injection and IOC container? In IOC container only we are giving
Difference. IOC container different.
Only we are creating container only creating the objects, and container only knows how to add the rate value, age, something. We are
No,
giving everything in IOC
container will create object. That created object where to inject. That will be decided by the different injection. And how to inject, what is the strategy, will decide by the auto-variant strategies. Bean scope, how many times we need to create object? For one class means only one object. For one class means multiple objects. Sometimes one class object needs multiple times. Okay, example test class. Test class only one object enough for me, or multiple objects are required, that we can tell to bin scopes. Okay, bin life cycle means already I told when it is it will be created, when it will destroyed. Some annotations wise, I don't just me discuss about value annotation like that. To work with Spring Core, we have many annotations that we'll discuss. Okay, we'll go one by one. Okay, today just I'm giving overview. Okay, so what is the bin scope? Before bin scope, I need to know about how much you know about variable scopes. Example, we have a int I equal to 10, static int j equal to 20. Here public void m1, any method name. What is the scope for all these variables? Not only int, I'm taking about only variables. Don't think I'm only using int. Okay, what is the scope of this variable? Int I, int j, int k. What is the scope? What is the meaning of scope? Scope means up to what location, up to what situation this variable is available. Up to what location this variable is available. That is we can call as a variable scope. Okay. Now tell me, if I'm writing some code, is there any issue in this code in terms of compile, in terms of static, in terms of compiler, in terms of runtime?
Compile time.
Okay, just tell me line number 51, 52, 53. Okay, from 42 to 54, where I'll get compile time error. What is the reason? What are the possible places to get compile time error?
Int k is local variable, and we are calling that local variable into M3 method.
How you are saying int k? Sorry, not int k. Line number, please.
47.
47 will get a compile time error, or 53.
53 we will get compile time error because we are calling M2 method variable into M3 method.
Okay, fine. Then what is the meaning of that? Why I cannot use k here?
Local variables we can access it only in that method. We can't access in another method.
Okay, local variables.
You can access inside the method itself.
Okay, local variables we can access inside a method. Okay, we have one more thing here. Maybe not about this method. I'm writing one more block. Static block already we know. Okay, I'm writing here int m equal to 50. Okay, I'm using m also here. Now tell me, can I use m here or not? This is not m is not a method variable, right? It is variable. It is like a variable from the static block. Just think. So where I'll get a compile time error? Maybe SOP M 56, 55, 54, 53. If I get compile time error, what is the reason? I need a reason for this, not direct answer. SOP of 5. Can we access here? 53 line number.
Yes.
It is a not compile time error.
Okay.
Okay. SOP of J.
Static variables also we can access.
Yes, we can use. We can use. Correct. Next one, SOP of K.
K we can't access because it's local variable. It will be permitted for only that method.
Last one.
Static methods. Static.
This is static variable. Sorry, it is a variable inside a block. Okay, inside a block means it's a local variable. I told already, instance variable means it can be right inside a class, outside a method, anywhere.
54
Okay, local
line. It's a compile time error. 54. Static variables we can't access in non-static method.
Static variables we cannot access instance method. Okay, fine. J, right? Okay. Static variables we cannot access inside a instance method. కాదనుకుంటా సో చెక్ చేద్దాం కోడ్ రాసి static variables we can access inside a method. We can, I think. Let me check.
Static variables we can access it, bro.
Instances we cannot access. Correct. The test method. I'm writing my static variable. Yes, I'm using here one instance method. Public no issue here, but there is one more difference is there. Just observe here. Instance variable we cannot access in a static method. Okay, here int k instance variable we are trying to access in a static method, is main method static method. So here we face error. Okay, we cannot make static reference to non-static method. Okay, it is not a compile time error. It's clear. So here main thing is to know about scope. What is scope? This is local variable. Local variable means this variable we can access only in this method anywhere. This variable we can access in this block anywhere. But these are global variables. Global variables we can access anywhere inside a class. Inside a class we can access anywhere. And based on modifiers we have public, private, protected. Outside class also we can access. If it is a private, we can access only in this class. If it is a public, we can access anywhere. Protected means subclass reference, outside package. Default means current package. These are modifiers, not going much. Okay, like that, scope where we can access this, where it is available, up to what time it is available, that will tell by the scope. Okay, that is a scope. So here local variable scope is up to this particular block or method. Global variables is up to this class or outside class, depends on a modifier. Same like we have a scopes in a Spring. When we create any object by Spring IOC container, that scopes will tell by the bean scope. Okay. Life cycle already covered. On Spring annotations. Spring annotation is major. Why we are talking about annotations? Why we are talking about annotations? Maybe I'll cover simple one example tomorrow about XML. Okay, then I'll discuss annotations, so we'll get more clarity. For high level purpose, here I'm saying if you want to declare one bean, declare one bean, any bean, example employee class bean object. Okay, if you want to define one bean, we can define through XML approach or annotation approach. What is XML? In XML approach, we have to know about XML language. We have to know about XML language. Example, bean ID equal to emp, class equal to class and name equal to employee class. Itla XML will define cheyala. Okay, but in annotation, we should not write all these things, just place one word, simple one word, this one or any one, not all this. Just place this one so that Spring can identify this class as a Spring bean. Okay, this class has a Spring bean. Like that, lot of coding is reduced by annotations. Okay, annotation is a single word, but internally reduce lot of things. Okay.
Sir, at the rate component.
Other component also. Okay, so component is a parent. All these childs are these three. So XML language, if you write any definition in XML, we need to, as a Java developer, we need to also know about XML language. It is somewhat complex. Okay, as a developers, Java developers, we are more focusing on XML. Okay, to define simple bean, we have to write this main line, this line. Okay, not only this line, we have some other tags also. I give simple approach. So there are 100 beans. Example, we have 100 classes in our Java code, Java project. How many lines we have to write here like this? This is a burden, right? To avoid that, we have a XML language. Okay, Java developers don't focus on a XML language, just focus on your Java only. Like that, there are some annotations came. Okay, annotations are introduced. Thus, annotation responsible to do lot of things inside. But here only we have to place these kind of annotations in a particular place. Maybe on the type of classes, on the type of variables, on top of method. Okay, this depends on the annotation type. We have to place the annotation in our code. Example, these annotations we can place in on top of the class. There are some annotations. Value where place here. This is a on top of the variable, right? This value annotation will do lot of things internally. What it will do? It will go and check in a properties file. Okay, get that data, compare the key whatever we provide here, compare the key is found, get the value and inject to here. That many things it will do only single word. Okay, fine. So one same thing in our Java, sorry, our XML way, there are many things we have to write. There is one property tag. Okay, in XML way I'm saying, take here T, test, okay, test class. So want to inject one variable or one value to this. Want to inject value to this. How to write? There is one property again. Sorry, property tag, property name equal to age. There is one variable is the age. For that, please inject this value. Like that, we have to say in Spring XML approach. But in annotations, just place this. This is responsible to inject that value into our variable. So this is equal to this one. Okay. In our class, one variable is there, means we have to write one line like this. We have multiple variables like this. See how much code is coming. We have to reduce a lot of this coding. Okay. To avoid this lot of boilerplate code, the framework introduces some annotations. Okay. Those annotations we'll discuss one by one. Okay. Each annotation has different purpose. Example here, this is a value annotation for to inject the variable to value to this variable. If you have a service annotation, what is service annotation? If you place on top of the class, what will happen? This class object will be automatically created by Spring IOC container. To tell like that, we can write this annotation. This class object, developers don't create you. Spring IOC container, there is one component in Spring IOC container will create the object for this class and will hand over to you. Okay. Like that, we have many annotations in a Spring core. We'll discuss one by one. First, we'll focus all these concepts in a Spring core. Then we'll go for next modules. Okay. What we discussed today, just revise. So why we need to go for Spring framework? Yes. Just respond.
Major
Why-
difference between Spring Boot.
What are differences?
Major difference in Spring and Spring Boot.
No, don't think about Spring Boot now. Why we need to go for Spring?
Reducing the tightly coupling objects.
Okay, title coupling correct. Title coupling will come in course, Spring core. Okay, fine. So here I told about multiple features about Spring. Why we need to go for Spring? Apart from that, remaining technologies, Spring frameworks. What are different modules in the Spring?
Spring Core, Spring ADBC, Spring MVC.
Spring core, MEC, ORM, REST. Okay. So interview wise, for today class, what they will ask mostly, what modules you work on Spring side? What modules
Spring-
you know?
Spring core module.
Mainly Spring core module, you have to tell. Without telling Spring core module, if you tell Spring MEC, REST, ORM, security, they will not believe because Spring core is a core. Okay. Without knowing core, you cannot go advanced concepts. Every module apart from the Spring core will depends on the Spring core only. Okay. So tomorrow onwards we'll start examples on Spring. We'll discuss one by one concept. Okay. Do practice. These are not simple projects. These are not simple logics. Okay. Just to print one hello world, we need to write at least 30-40 lines of code. Okay. Daily practice, then only you can understand. If you don't practice, next concept is very difficult for you. Definitely very difficult. In terms of core Java, if you don't know exception handling, you can understand multi-threading. Okay. If you don't know multi-threading, exception handling, you can understand collections. But here not like that. It's very difficult if you miss one class. We don't practice also. Okay. And one more thing is, so to work with JDBC, what jar file we used? For JDBC, what is jar file name we used? JDBC MySQL. గుర్తులేదా? వాట్ ఇస్ జార్ ఫైల్ నేమ్ యూజ్ ఫర్ జేడీబీసీ MySQL కనెక్టివిటీ? గుర్తుందా? మనం ఒక జార్ ఫైల్ యాడ్ చేసినాము క్లాస్ పాత్ లో, బిల్ పాత్ లో. కాశీ బ్రో,
API jar file.
అదే ఫుల్ నేమ్.
Servlet API jar file.
Okay, for servlet we use servlet hyphen API dot jar file. Okay, for JSP, for MySQL, Subbu, వింటున్నా బ్రో? For servlet, what jar file we use in the project?
JSP, I think Jasper. I didn't live in the classes.
JSP hyphen API jar file. For MySQL connectivity, MySQL గుర్తులేదా? ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయలేదా?
JSP API dot Jasper API dot not correct.
JSP hyphen API jar file only. You can see here one simple JSP application. This is first JSP. Go build path. You already added, right? You can check what is there. JSP hyphen API for JSP, servlet hyphen API for servlet. Okay. For MySQL, JDBC. What is the name?
MySQL connector Java dot jar.
For MySQL, we use MySQL connector hyphen Java jar file. Okay. So why we use this jar files in our class path? What is the need? If we don't use, what will happen? If I don't use MySQL connector, MySQL connection dot jar file or servlet API dot jar file or JSP API, if I don't use, what will happen? Example, I'm writing one JDBC application. My JDBC application just reading the data from the MySQL table. Okay, I written code. Okay, I written code. Create table. Okay, simple state lines code. I written. I forgot to add MySQL connector jar file to class path or build path. What will happen?
Connection might not establish.
We will get compiled an error.
No, it will not get compile error. In this case, will not get compile error. It will not throw any compile error, but while running this application, it will say there is no class MySQL com MySQL CJ JDBC driver. Just check. I am removing from here this jar file. First, I will check here. Okay, update, delete. Where is the select data? Select. Okay. Simple example. Just I'm running. You see, it will get some data. We got data. Now I'm going to build path again. Remove that jar file. I removed. Okay. and I'm trying to run again. What will happen? See here, it is saying some error. What is error? Java.lang class not found exception. There is some exception raised. What is the exception? Com MySQL CJ driver is not there. This class is not found. So in this line number 12, you see here line number 12 got exception. We are trying to load one class. We are trying to load one class. That class is not available. That is saying. Okay. To work with any third-party application, third-party framework, we have to use those specific jar files to our class path. Okay. For in terms of JDBC, we are using MySQL connector, JDBC MySQL. If it is JDBC Oracle, there is separate jar file for the Oracle. We have download and add into class path. Okay. In terms of servlet, we have used servlet API, JSP API jar file. Same as like Spring. Same as like Spring. For Spring, we have some jar files we need to download and add into class paths. If you want to develop Spring-based applications, Spring projects. Okay. So Spring given almost 30 to 40 jar files. Not 1 or 2, it is given 32 jar files, 30 to 40. Okay. Example, if you want to work with Spring Core, there are 5 jar files. If you want to work with Spring JDBC, maybe 3 jar files. ORM, 3. MVC, 10. Okay. Spring REST, maybe 5. Security, 10. Transaction, 12 or 5, some random number. So for each module, there are some specific jar files required. Okay. To work with all these modules, we need to add the 30 jar files. Okay. Now I'm going to only work on a Spring Core. That means I need only 5 jar files. Whatever Spring provided, 30 jar files, I need only 5 jar files. Those jar files I need to manually add into class path. Okay. Okay. Example. Maybe the jar file names I'm giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 jar files. I added 4 jar files. I forgot to add 5th jar file. I confused and I forgot to add 5th jar file. What will happen? It code work correctly or not? Basically, to work with the Spring Core module, I need to add 5 jar files. I added only 4 jar files. Unfortunately, I forgot to add 5th jar file. Is that code will work or not? Will not work. That is a problem, right? Same like Spring transaction I want to work, I need 5 jar files. Spring security, I need 10 jar files. So if I want to work Spring Core, first module, if I want to work Spring JDBC, second module, Spring MVC, third module. Okay. Each module has different jar files. Spring Core, I need 3. Spring JDBC 2, Spring MVC 10. I need total 15 jar files. Okay, 15 jar files I am trying to add into my class path. Maybe unfortunately I confused and I did not add some jar files. I did not add correct jar files. In the place of Spring MVC, I added Spring REST. In the place of Spring JDBC, I added Spring transaction jar files. What will happen? Here, your responsibility to add your jar files according to your requirement. If you add incorrect jar files, it will not work properly. Okay. To avoid these kind of things, we have some new tool is there, build tool. That I'll discuss first tomorrow. Then I'll go for Spring. Okay. So Spring provided 30 jar files. I told how you will add. First, how you will get 30 jar files. Where we will get? In terms of servlet API jar file, where you got? How you got servlet API? How you got MySQL connector jar file? How you got JSP API jar file? Where you got? Where you got? Already this Eclipse ID given to you. Already Windows OS given to you. Already your laptop is given to you. Already your friend given to you. How you got jar files? Maybe MySQL connector. I already shown to you how to download, how to MySQL connector, how to add the class path. Okay, same like here, Spring jar files we need to download from internet, 30 jar files, and add into class path. Okay, if you miss one jar file, we'll get some error. It will not work properly. Application will not give the proper results. We'll get some errors, compile time errors or runtime errors, whatever. Okay, fine. So instead of and manually download the jar files, manually add into class path, these are headache for developers. To avoid that, we have a new build tool came, that is Apache Maven. Not only this, we have a multiple Gradle and like this we have multiple. Okay, 70% of industry, okay, in software companies are using Maven only. Okay, 20% is this very old projects, 9 years, 10 years old projects using, and this is outdated. This is outdated. So 90% of companies are using Maven and 20% is Gradle. Remaining old projects are using Ant. Okay, so internally Gradle also depends on Maven. Okay, on top of Maven only Gradle defined. Okay, but is some simplicity there. Okay, now we'll discuss in this course, we'll discuss about Maven build tool. What Maven will do. What Maven will do, just tell to Maven, I need Spring Core jar files. Just tell to Maven, I need Spring Core jar files. It will go to internet, it will download all jar files. All jar files automatically that will add to class path. If you tell Maven, I need Spring Core, I need Spring REST, I need Spring MVC, all these jar files I need. Okay, just tell like that. It will go and download all the jar files, 15 jar files, and put it into a class path. Okay, class path or build path. So directly you can use. You know to manually download. There is no confusion. Spring or like Maven knows what jar files needs to be downloaded for Spring Core, what jar files needs to download for REST, what jar files needs to download for Spring MVC. Okay, Maven knows the corresponding jar files for which module what jar files required. If you just tell Maven, I need this jar file, go and download, automatically put in class path. You just go and use, develop your code. Okay, what manually we do, downloading jar files and putting into class path, all these things will do by Maven. Tomorrow we'll start first Maven. Okay, then we will go for the Spring. Okay, Maven not take much time, hardly 20 minutes. Okay, hardly 20 minutes. Then we'll go for the Spring concepts. Okay, so in our course I mentioned I'll cover real-time tools. I'll cover real-time tools. What are real-time tools generally? In the project purpose, in the companies, what tools generally used to develop a project? Okay, so what are tools? First one, STS IDE, any IDE. Okay, I told STS or Eclipse, both are same. Already we are covering. Next one is Maven. Third one is Git. Fourth one is JUnit. Okay, we'll cover, depends on. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to start with the Maven. And very soon, within 10 days, I'll start with the Git also. Git is very popular. Okay, our source code will place in a Git. Okay, I will tell Git Maven JUnit as a part of Spring Boot also. I'll cover parallelly. Fine. I'm stopping here for today.